I want to take a few minutes and share something with you today, something I learned during this whole time that I thought would be helpful. Has nothing to do with the whole coronavirus thing, just something I came across as I was watching some TV shows, and I wanted to, it made something in the Bible come alive, and I wanted to share it with you today. I've had a bunch of things I wanted to share. Our audio wasn't working so good for a couple weeks there, and now that we got it fixed, I want to catch up and share a couple things with you. I haven't watched too much TV, been working on a lot of home projects around the house, but I did stumble across a TV show that I'm enjoying right now called Alone. And it's a history channel TV show, and it's a survival type show. They take 10 contestants, they put them out in the wilderness, and they have to live off the land. And last one standing wins $500,000, that type of deal. I think Desi and I are kind of wrapping up season 3 right now. But just something I find interesting. We kind of enjoy watching it a little bit. And so I'm not trying to build up the TV show. I don't care if you watch the show or not. But I'm watching it. Something we've come across in the Bible a couple different times really comes alive. And so one of the major elements of the show is they have to forage for their own food. They have to find food. And they're always beside some type of water source, whether it's the ocean or a bay or a lake or something, where they're able to fish and try to catch some fish to eat. They try to forage for some food in the forest, as far as maybe some berries, some plants that are edible, maybe some mushrooms, things like that. They have to know what they can eat, what they can't eat. They have to try to catch fish. They have to try to catch some other wildlife if they can. We've seen them catch some little things like birds and things like that. But the bottom line is, as they're out there in the wilderness, it's really hard to find food. It's not easy. It's not easy to catch it. It's not easy to prepare it. It's just, the bottom line is, one of the biggest things that they're up against out there, besides the fact that they're all by themselves, they're all alone, they have to film their own adventure, so there's no cameramen around, they have their own camera equipment. They're away from family and loved ones, and so they are all alone. That's the name of the show. But they're also hungry. In fact, they're starving, and they're really looking for food, and they're really thinking about food. And the longer they're out there, obviously, the skinnier they're getting, the more food is becoming desperate, the more even some health things start to come up because they're so hungry. They're just looking for food. They start to dream about food. They start to hallucinate about food. Some of them are literally starving. And so, the first season, I think the winner lasted 52 days. By season 2, it was 66 days. And I haven't finished up season 3, but they're already up to 70 some days. And so, a couple months out there in the wilderness, and they're really, really looking for food. They're starving. A couple Bible stories came up. First one, I was thinking about Jesus Christ when he went out into the wilderness. Before he started his ministry, he went out into the wilderness for 40 days. At the end of 40 days, we know that Satan came to tempt him. And one of the things Satan tempted him with was food. Now, I think on the surface, that seems so small. Like, here is Jesus Christ, the creator of the universe, and Satan comes along and just offers him some bread. Bread. I mean, it seems such a small thing. But is it a small thing if you've just spent 40 days without food? And all you can think about is food? It's not a small thing. I think a similar story as regards to someone giving up so much for food is Jacob and Esau. We have that story of Esau selling his birthright to his brother Jacob for a pot or a bowl of soup, of some type of stew. He was willing to give up so much for that. And on the surface, again, that seems so small. Like, why would he give away all of his future for just a little bowl of something to eat? That seems so minuscule. Desi and I have been working on these different puppet scripts. And even one of the puppet scripts that I looked at, we haven't used yet, but I was looking at last night, was the story of Jacob and Esau. And in the puppet script, the puppet for Esau says to Jacob, "Oh, I missed breakfast and I'm really hungry." I'm thinking Esau missed a lot more than breakfast. Esau was a man of the field, a man of the wilderness. He lived by hunting, and we all know if you go hunting or you go fishing, there's times you just don't get anything. You just don't catch anything. I think Esau was out in the wilderness. We know this, but Esau wasn't stopping by a Sheetz to pick up something. He couldn't go to the grocery store. He ate what he was able to forage and able to find out there in the wilderness. And I think when he came home, he was like these guys on this TV show. He was starving. He was literally starving, looking for food, anything. Listen, it seems like they gave up so much, the birthright, just to get a bowl of soup. And these people in this show are willing to give up $500,000 to go home and get something to eat. The last guy that we saw that left couldn't stop thinking about cupcakes. Couldn't stop thinking about them, and finally left. He tapped out of the show and went home. He missed his family, yes. He was tired, yes. But he was so hungry for food. Just some Bible stories that we know so well. You know, Esau selling his birthright for food. Satan coming along and tempting Jesus Christ with food. But these were humans that had been out in the wilderness for a long period of time and were desperate for food, and their body was starting to break down muscle in order to provide the protein that they needed to survive. It's a lesson I learned from just watching a TV show. When the Bible comes alive, when we start to apply it to things that we learn in everyday life. Hope that helps you today. Thank you.